Tommy, tell us a little bit about where you're located, what you do, why you got into real estate, and we'll just jump right into it.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I'm located in Bellingham, Washington. Been selling real estate for about 7 years. Managing broker, and I got a few team members and some assistants. And I don't really remember why I got into real estate. I think I lost my sales job, and it was just the next best thing, and it sounded like a ton of fun. And here I am 7 years later, and I still love it.
Just real quick, for those that don't know me, you've seen my posts around and stuff like that. I've been in real estate for about 4 years, and I focus more on the nerd stuff instead of the people stuff. That's where my skill set and my brain works best. So I do what I do best, and I hair out the rest is my slogan that I like to use. So that's what I do. I've got some experience with other systems in the past. There was some overlap, but the last 3 years I've been using Chime, and it's definitely where I need to be with my business. I really enjoy it. So I've told this story a little bit before in other ones, but I'll recap because I know we added a whole bunch of people. So the first 10 months of me using Chime for my 3-year period was me. I had a free seat on somebody else's team account, and I just watched how Chime, I uploaded a database, and for 10 months, I didn't really do anything. I wasn't really concerned about converting anybody. I wanted to see how the system worked, the follow-up, how the smart plans worked, just how everything was going on with the bot, all that fun stuff. And then when I was looking at it, I was like, okay, like I see the poetry in motion. I know what it's trying to do. I can kind of direct it here and there. So I got my own account, and I just basically never looked back. So one of the biggest benefits that I've looked at other CRMs, and one of the biggest benefits about Chime is the ability to use automations in a way that other systems don't really allow for, as far as feature-based. I mean, when I'm talking automations, I'm not talking about your standard drip campaigns of like sending out text messages and emails. Pretty much every other system can do that. That's like a basic thing. With automations, what I'm talking about with that is things that are not being sent out to the lead. So when I'm automatically moving in between pipelines and groups based on lead score and behavior and reevaluate score, and I'm kicking things out through Zapier to Facebook custom audiences and running a retargeting ad, or I'm sending them to MailChimp for a third-party newsletter, things like that. They're moving around behaviors within Chime with the leads, moving them. So I know, okay, these are hand raisers, these are other people are tire kickers. That's kind of my wheelhouse. That's my jam. So what are some of your favorite automations that you like to use in the system, where when you have an idea, you created it, and you're like, this literally changed my life?
What are some of my favorite automations that have changed my life? Let's see. I mean, I think I'm in the same boat as you. The whole Chime platform is just a great foundation, I've noticed, for automating basically like all of my follow-up and lead nurture. I spend basically no time following up at all. Some of my favorite features, I really think, like postcards, being able to send out like a physical letter or postcard on like a close anniversary, just automatically, even like a birthday card. Even using like the Zapier integration, like inside of smart plans, that's been huge, because I can send out a custom handwritten letter.
There's Chris popping up with the stuff you're talking about, Tommy.
Oh yeah, it's super powerful, super good. It's a game changer for sure. Like Adam was saying, there's a ton of great tools in that, switching, moving leads between like different pipelines and different groups. You can really automate the entire process. I basically do no manual reach out. I don't have time. And then 2, I don't need to. Just the nurture the systems that I built within my CRM are so powerful, and they're just so good at, yes, okay, based on their activity, based off their behavior, we're going to send out this campaign versus that campaign. It truly is a powerful system. But I would say Zapier is one of my favorite integrations with it. I mean, there's a lot of them. They're all kind of my favorite. But it's really smart plans and the automation that have taken Chime to like the next level for me in my real estate business.
One of the things that I like to play around with, they just added this feature, I think it was like maybe 3 or 4 updates ago. And, but it was the ability to use a smart plan to force the AI assistant to re-engage leads. I built out, so there's like 10 different ways that you can do it. There's 6 for buyers and 6 for sellers. And I've been playing around and kind of testing a lot of things with like pipeline triggers, group triggers, behavior triggers, different like reevaluate score, pretty much going in and saying, okay, look, let's run just this automation now. And for basically 1 week, everybody that does that one thing, just running through, and how do we get the best engagement? I'm kind of like you, 98% of my follow-up is automated. I do very limited manual, and it's only for people that like, I know they're gonna convert. There's indicators there. I'm a data-driven business. I work for results, and it's a lot of confirmation. Most of my outbound calling is just to confirm an appointment that they're going to meet with one of my referral partners. It's already like texting the AI, like it's all done. And I'm stepping in just to smooth out that transition. I think with me doing that, because my business model is a non-production model, I just do an outbound lead referral business to local partners at the time. So I have to kind of grease the wheels a little bit, because people typically they're used to dealing with maybe a team or like a single person. So when they're getting all my stuff and seeing my name, and then I have to make the transition, like, hey, you're going to work with, one of these 2 people, I got to step in and just make sure that I don't lose them at that point. And a lot of my follow-up is explaining not only what's going on in the market, what's going on in the local areas as far as events and things like that, but also what is your real estate experience going to be like with me? And one of my favorite ways to do that with automation stuff is send out videos. I'm very, by the end of the year, every single text message and every single email that is sent from my system is going to include a video. That's my goal for the end of the year. I will transition a little bit. There will be like the text version and then the video of kind of basically the same thing, using that as a guide. But it's definitely going to be in that direction. And that should be even more effective with focusing on like the relationships using automation, instead of just trying to like blast out a whole bunch of stuff that everybody else is doing,
I have a question for both of you. Only because I know we have a lot of people here that are newer to using Chime. Mm-hmm. Where would you, when it comes to Chime and automations, so I'm just going to show you the back end of mine. Besides going here and going into the learning center, right? Besides going there and starting there, where would you start when it comes to actually starting with smart plans, any type of automation? Where would you start? Tommy, where would you start?
I would spend some time learning how pipelines work, and as well as how groups work, because that's going to be kind of the foundation of your automation. For example, a lead can live in a group or multiple groups. So you have the groups in the left-hand corner. If you look on your CRM, you can have a lead in multiple groups, or just one group or no groups. Whereas the pipeline, that's where you're going to have a lead can only live in one space in this pipeline. So for example, I have mine set up for all my new leads. All my new leads come in, they live in the new lead pipeline. Then I have cold leads, warm leads, hot leads. Then I have appointment sets, active clients, under contracts, and closed. Now I know I just threw a bunch of words out there, but this helps me to categorize and organize my leads. So any lead that's a hot lead, they're going to get followed up with automatically weekly. And the way I do that is I created a smart plan. And you can go into the smart plans tool, spend some time looking at it, seeing how it works. I created a trigger that when a lead enters the hot pipeline, they're going to get followed up with automatically. So the smart plan is going to automatically apply to them and it's going to sound out a text or an email or ringless voicemail, and you can customize it however you want. You know, I spent a lot of time fine tuning how I use it, but I would start there, and then I use that to follow up with them weekly, and just take some time. You know, it's going to be a process. I would say keep it simple. You can go really deep. You could really overcomplicate this and build out some crazy systems. I've done that. I found that simplifying and simplifying the process is the best way. So don't feel like you have to do super crazy automation things. Like, that's going to come with time and a lot of practice. You know, there's a ton of good resources, you know, on YouTube. I know Adam has some videos. I have some videos. You know, I have a completely free course. I don't have anything to upsell you or anything on how to use Chime. You know, and I'm gonna just show you how I set it up personally. So it's great for newer agents. But that's where I would start. Learn how the pipelines work, and then slowly build out your smart plans. And again, start simple. It's going to take time. It's going to be a lot of work. Just go slow, and you'll figure it out.
So
How about you, Adam?
So my thing is, I'm despite the way my house looks, my business is very organized. I think the most important thing somebody can do before they do anything else in Chime is organize their database. The two main areas that I would focus on are the pipelines and the groups. So the pipelines, the intent with the pipelines, they're meant to be the point at which they are in the transaction from curiosity to close. So curiosity is new leads. They're stranger danger. We don't know. We need to figure out if they're actually serious or if they're just like waiting in line, or, you know, waiting for their wife to try on outfits and they're just bored and clicked on an ad, on one of our ads, right? So as they progress through the different stages, how I organize mine, just because it makes sense in my brain, I use very simple terms, but I want to know, like, I'm tracking how far away they are from meeting somebody in person. You know, I'm going to say me, but when I'm going to say me, I mean my referral partners. Are they 3 months away? Because I'm going to talk to them a whole lot differently than someone that just signed a lease that's going to be a year down the road. It's a whole different conversation, whole different style of follow-up. They're further along. Like think of this being part of the sales funnel inside the sales funnel, right? So they registered, okay, well, here's a little funnel in here, and everything is just funneling through. They go from funnel to funnel. So the outside funnel is basically the big sales funnel. Once they're in my system, now I'm funneling them from new leads, which is curiosity, all the way through the steps to closing. So I use very simple terms, just like Tommy does, hot, warm, and cold. To that, hot, warm, and cold is basically my next 90 days of potential appointments. I'm using Chime to convert new leads, not just to follow up with leads. So my goal is I want to take internet leads that have no idea who I am. I want to organize them. I use the AI assistant to basically do the frontline engagement. I'm using automations based off those AI tags to automatically sort into my pipelines. And then once there, I have smart plan automations that start to nurture them. And then I pepper in my manual stuff after that. With groups, I use those as a collective of situations. First-time home buyers, inbound referrals, outbound referrals, different loan types. You know, if I got USDA, I got FHA, I got VA, I've got the state WIDA program, which is a no down payment one. Like, all that stuff matters, and that needs to make sense in my brain so that when I'm looking at somebody, I can take a quick glance at them and see, okay, they're in the cold pipeline and they're looking at a VA loan. Cool. So they're a veteran and they're about 3 months away, basically 60 to 90 days away from potentially meeting in person. Now I can look in and, you know, basically handle it from there. Once you organize your database and you see exactly what your workflow is like and makes sense in your brain, now, like, basically, like, your table is set. Now you have to go grocery shopping. So we're going to go to the smart plans and create the recipes that we need to feed the family and friends that are in our database, in our home, basically. That's the analogy that I like to use. So I would organize the pipelines and groups to make sense, then go into the smart plans and just ask yourself, okay, here's my situation. You've got a new lead coming from Zillow. How do you need to have that conversation to figure out how to educate them on not only the real estate process, but also what that's like with you, right? And just kind of use your words, just go from there. Don't overthink it. Like Tommy said, don't overthink it. Keep it simple. the shorter the message is better, I think, especially with an email, like you can just write paragraph, like calm down. You know?
All my
Like, if you're
emails are
gonna-
one.
that's a
10
video,
away.
you know. That's a video. So that's how I would approach that.
I love that. One place I want everyone to at least look at or start with as well is on your main screen. You just, click Chime. You end up here. There's a section, Smart Plan Emails. More smart plans right here. Just click it. Then it takes you to this section right here. And there's a little wheel and it tells you, well, what do you want to do? It says, well, let's say we want to nurture somebody. And as soon as you click nurture, on the right-hand side, it has some options. So you can either create them or use the ones that are already here. So let's say it was just after closing, right? Or opportunity or property marketing or initial contact. Initial contact's probably the one that we use the most. You could just grab them here. And once you grab them, you can modify them yourself if you want, or you can leave it like it is. I always would suggest that you modify them, and then you can create your own as well. So I love that space, guys. Do you guys ever use that?
I have in the very beginning when I was kind of just figuring out the smart plan situation and how that all works and things like that. But now I'm just at the point I go to smart plans. I just started from scratch and do my own thing.
I love it. How about you, man?
Same, they were, when I first started, they were a good starting point. And then as I learned how to use Chime more effectively, I started building out my own.
Yeah, it's really good for like, get your follow-up done, right? Get your basics, and then write down what you have going on, right? Hey, okay, I got a hot buy or a warm, go back to that wheel and see what's going on and use that to help patch holes in your follow-up process, right? That's like the no man left behind kind of stuff. No lead should be untouched. If they are in your database, they should be on a smart plan of some kind, even if it's like one email every 3 years. They need to be on something, in my opinion.
That's true. All right. So a question on this for both of you. Then if I'm looking to build out a plan, or let's go with a smart plan. And the first place that I would typically start with, well, where am I getting most of my leads from? Where am I getting most of my transactions from? That's the first thing I look at, right? So, Tommy, where do you get most of your transactions from? And how did you work on that smart plan first?
Oh gosh. It's been different throughout the years. Today, I get most of my leads from either YouTube or Zillow. So a lot of times, if it's a Zillow lead, I usually schedule the appointment right away. So I have automation that's in place that moves the lead when it comes in from the new lead pipeline straight automatically to the appointment set. And that's because Zillow has some tags that'll give you like, hey, they requested a showing tour, or they haven't been connected. Like based off the tag Zillow gives me, I created different automation where it will move the Zillow lead to either the cold pipeline, the hot pipeline, or the appointment set pipeline. And obviously, if I wasn't able to set the appointment and it gave me that tag, I will just go in and manually do it. But 99% of the time, it's a great way to just automate that entire process. Of course, then I have some like videos, kind of like Adam was saying, some videos that go out that set expectations, that tell them, hey, before we meet, this, we need to know this. This is how I work. YouTube, kind of a similar thing. If I get a YouTube lead, that appointment's set automatically. So I just automatically move that lead to the appointment set pipeline. Now, if it's not, of course, I have other automation like for the new lead category that'll follow up accordingly. But those are my two big income sources right now is YouTube leads, organic YouTube leads, and then Zillow leads.
Got it. So that makes sense. That's where you would start with your smart plans. Make sure that those are outlined. I like that. How about you, Adam? Where's your primary source of business right now?
100% is from online. I do Google PPC on my own and retarget on my own on Facebook and Instagram. I use Revaluate a lot to help me identify people that maybe aren't interacting with my site as much as they should. And I use that to help me target the people that need to get kind of slapped around a little bit and remind them that, hey, you need to come back to my website, not anybody else. But yeah, mostly I'm doing lead generation on Google and then retargeting on Facebook and Instagram in certain situations.
Perfect.
There's
And
like a small I get maybe like 1 or 2 a month organically, because I don't really worry about organic traffic right now. It's still being built up, but so yeah, it's pretty much like 99.9% is Google.
what are you using to retarget?
I am using Facebook and Instagram for
And
that.
are you using it through Chime?
Are they asking what kind of ad? Are they asking what kind of ads I'm running?
No. Are you using Chime for the retargeting?
No,
Or are
I'm
you
doing all.
on your
I
own?
do all my own ads.
Got it.
Yep, I do all my own ads.
So you just
I
have them filter through Chime then?
Yeah, so Google Leads come into my Chime CRM. I'm doing a follow-up when they exhibit certain behaviors or lack thereof. They go into different groups automatically through automations, and then I have all my different. So like somebody that hasn't come back to the website in 6 months, they're on one ad campaign. Somebody that is ready to go in 90 days and isn't opening emails, they're in a different audience. They get a different kind of thing. So I've got kind of a web of retargeting going on where different situations, I'm basically using my Chime database to move them into groups and then add them to custom audiences and target them on Facebook. I do all that stuff on my own.
Got it. All right. I want to create some clarity for the people listening in, only because sometimes when we're listening to, let's say you, Tommy, or Adam, you're already functioning at a level where you're getting in leads. You've got the systems in place, the smart plans in place. And a lot of people are still trying to figure out, well, where do I start? So one of the things that I do is I focused on my strengths first. I say, where do most of my leads come from originally? And I created this Google PPC doc. I'd had an outline really quick of everything that was going to happen. And then I went deep into it. And then once I outlined everything and I know that it worked and I tested it out, I grabbed it all and I dumped it into Chime, right? But for me, anything I need to change out, it's here. It's in this document, right? So that's how I did it first. I'll share this with you so you can have it too. This way, at least you can get an idea of what you should be doing. And then once you're done there, you should then say, okay, now I've got it. Let's place it into Chime. That's where I would start, right? But again, I just wanted to simplify that process. Tommy, we've got 6 minutes left. Tell me, what are you excited about using next when it comes to Chime?
Oh man, what am I excited about next? I'm really excited to see where the AI goes. I've been using it a lot, testing it a lot, seeing where it fits in my business. I think I'm getting close to a point where I can just step away even more from Chime and just let the AI kind of take over. Of course, I have my own automation that works great, but I think I'm really close to just fully automating this and just really just taking a big step back from my real estate business as a whole. And Chime is the foundation of that.
I love that, man. And that's what I keep on hearing, by the way. It's like, it's a consistent theme. How about you, Adam? What are you looking forward to?
More build out of the AI engagement and functionality, especially the reporting. I know I've been bugging Chime for a while, about getting the same metrics and stuff like that we have for the email reporting and stuff like that. It's just, I like to see the needle and I like to see where the needle goes. I like the new features where we can, the middle ground between customizing the script ourselves, which I think is like, that kind of scares me a little bit, honestly. And being able to just trust the people that know what they're doing. I like that we can basically have triggers to create smart plans and basically send the AI down a path. The conversion on that is increasing since I've done my testing with those smart plans. If anybody has the bot and they want to play around with these, the one tip I will give you that I had to go to support for, because I'm like, okay, I don't understand what's going on here. When you create the smart plan, you're just going to do, new smart plan standard. The buyer and seller as like the combination lead type needs to be selected for who the smart plan applies to, so that you see that AI. So you have to have the AI assistant. Hopefully that was obvious. You need to, not the buyer, not the seller. It's got to be the buyer ampersand seller as the lead type that it applies to. And then you will see that option in the drop down where you click on the auto email and you'll see that whole menu there. Took me a little bit to figure out. I had to go to support because I was looking at the article. I'm like, I'm not seeing this. What's going on? So building that out and playing around with that, I'm actually reducing the amount of smart plans because I got the AI doing its thing.
That's a great point, man. And once you get to that point where you feel comfortable letting the AI take over, I think that starts changing things. But you know what? Mentally, we have to be a little bit more forgiving when it comes to using the AI, because a lot of us that are real estate agents that are more along the lines of analytical, we don't want to either let go of that, or we feel like the AI is going to mess up, and then we're really critical over something small they said, right? That to me, I think, is a challenge for some people, but I still use it. So
I have personally screwed up more conversations with the lead than the AI ever has. Like, that's legit. Like, I screwed up so many times and it's like I lost them. Compared to the AI, maybe 10, 15 people in the 2 years I've been using it, a little over, just about 2 years, like, that's fine. I've screwed up probably 4 or 5 times that many conversations myself. So
yeah, that's true. That's true. All right, Tommy, you said you had a free YouTube course. What's the link to it? Can you please put it in the chat?
Yeah, I'll send it. It's just my website, thelazyagent.com. And
Okay.
there's
Excellent.
yeah,
Put
I'll
that
send
in
it.
there. So Adam, Tommy, thank you so much for being on. We appreciate you. Thanks for being a Chime user and also for contributing back and just giving to the community. So thank you for that, guys.
yeah, thanks for having me on again, guys.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.